we'll move on from Iran. I mean, there's so much more we could talk about, but let's get back to North Korea. Now, in 1949, Mao Zedong wrote, enable every woman who can work to take her place on the labour front under the principle of equal pay for equal work. This should be done as quickly as possible. And yet, in North Korea, a single-party communist state influenced by the writings of Mao Zedong, women still do most, if not all, the housework, in addition to working outside the home. Now, the majority of women work in light industry, where they are paid less than their male counterparts in heavy industry. In office situations, they are likely to be engaged in secretarial jobs. What are your thoughts on this, Wynne?
Well, again, that just reeks to me of fascism. By my deeds you shall know me. How I treat my women is who I am. And they're clearly somebody I don't like, because frankly, they don't like me. They're not going to let me be who I am. And the greatest thing is, it's their loss. They are depriving themselves of the brain power and the heart power of 50% of their own population. We've seen this before. I make a joke out of it, and forgive me, but I don't think it's an accident Germany lost the war. They got rid of all their good people. They either forced them to flee or put them in jail themselves. They were left with nothing in the end.
And they didn't sorry, I just want to interrupt. And they didn't let women... you had the Russians who allowed their women to fight alongside the men, which made them a powerful army, whereas the Germans wanted the women sort of to be in their dindrils and do, other things.
Well, they were baby-making machines.
Yeah.
They had there were camps where they were to mate. You were nothing. You were nothing but your children.
Yeah.
And you were to mate with some big alleged Aryan.
Well, it's only just recently that German women have been allowed to go on to sort of like the front line alongside the men in the army. Prior to that, it was mostly sort of other roles in the German army, like as a musician or sort of more secretarial roles. It's only just recently that's changed, basically. Look, let's move on, because otherwise we'll run out of time. In South Korea, I just want to touch on South Korea, along with Indonesia and Japan, it's one of the worst countries when it comes to the treatment of women in the workforce. In a recent World Economic Forum, it ranked ranking gender equality. The Nordic countries topped the list, and Islamic countries came last. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? I mean, what is it about the Nordic countries, do you think, that make them, that would top the list? How do they encourage their women?
I think, I'm always reminded of God Bless Him Disraeli when he made fun of the guy who made fun of his being Jewish, and he said, well, my people were writing the Bible while your people were still swinging in the trees. And yet, the Nordic peoples have certainly caught up and surpassed in so many ways. I think one of the reasons is they don't have a lot of people. These are smaller countries with smaller populations. And so they know how stupid it would be to waste a perfectly good brain because of its location, meaning to whom it was attached. If somebody's got a great brain and great heart and great talent, what do I care whether it's attached to a male or a female? I want that greatness, and it is the greatness that should always matter. This is the horror of this kind of, frankly, it's retardation. Those men who think they're better than, they die that way. They die stupid, and they don't care. It's a tremendous, it's a shame for them. They're the biggest loser in this whole scenario. But I will not have women trounced on anymore. It's too late already. It's too late, and it's been too long. It's been thousands of years. And I'll tell you, I wanted years ago to begin a boycott women buy more gasoline and more dishwashers and stereos from Japan and South Korea than there is tea in China. We have tremendous buying power. And we should, on behalf of our sisters in those oppressive countries, we should say to them, tomorrow, no more Sony stereos and no more dishwashers and this and that. And you know, cars, all of that.
Yeah,
it's all on the line until we start getting some college educations over here and no more glass ceilings. And when Australia goes to place their orders, I want a female rep. I want to see some women selling these cars, and I want to see women selling whatever it is you're buying. I want a woman salesman. And where is your female CEO of this company, and your CFO, and your chief financial this? And where is your female lawyer? And if this is a doctor's practice, where's your female doctor? We should all be about that. We could create a lot of change in a very short period of time. So there's a lot of products out there getting sold, and we have that at our disposal. You can vote with your dollar.
So why don't people? What's wrong?
Well, my country's excuse is that we had 8 years of Cheney Bushes. I don't know what your country's excuse is.
We had John Howard. Now,
okay, there you go. And we were in bed together having lunch, and it was all happy.
Yeah, pretty much. So now, just quickly, in regards to the Nordic countries, now one of them, Sweden, ranks one of the highest in being a country in which